All right, today we're diving into something truly powerful. It's a philosophical allegory about what humans could be, a vision that's, well, both a little terrifying and absolutely magnificent. It's really a story about becoming a creator, someone who can forge their own meaning in a world where, let's face it, the old answers just don't seem to cut it anymore. And this quote, it just nails the whole struggle, doesn't it? The point isn't about getting to some safe, cozy destination. It's all about the dangerous, thrilling, terrifying act of being the rope itself. You're on a tightrope over a giant void. And that tension, that's exactly where our story takes place. So, who's the one walking this rope? In this story, the prophet Zarathustra looks up and sees a totally new kind of hero. He calls him the modern Sampson. And you need to forget everything you know about the old tragic story. This is something else entirely. A titan for a whole new age. So what makes this guy tick? Well, he's this incredible fusion. He's not just pure cold intellect, and he's not just raw primal instinct. He's a conscious mix of both. Think of it like this. He's got the unshakable logic of the stars combined with the ancient, powerful magic of the earth. And that combination, it points to this awesome, maybe even frightening possibility of what a person can truly become. Now, you might think his whole goal is to reach some kind of heaven or paradise, but nope. His purpose is what's called a willing downgoing. He's not trying to escape the world, he's plunging right into it, into himself, so that something even greater can grow right here on Earth. He's not the goal, he's the bridge. He's the anchor pulling the future right down into the here and now. But hey, nobody starts out as a titan, right? The journey has to begin somewhere. And for this figure, it begins in a state of just carrying stuff. A spirit that's best described as the camel. In this first life, he's basically a child of the desert. And what does that mean? It means he's not really his own person yet. His identity is totally shaped by his surroundings, by forces acting on him. He's just a product of old laws and the heavy gravity of a world he never made. And these are the specific weights he's carrying. It's the whole morality of thou shalt. Do this, don't do that. And these aren't just suggestions, they're the crushing gravity of a past that isn't even his, a history that's defining him before he ever gets a chance to define himself. And really, that's the starting point for any huge transformation, isn't it? Realizing the weight you're carrying. So, the big question is, how does the camel finally shake off that weight? Well, we've come to the pivot point of the whole story. This is the moment where just following orders is shattered by a conscious, willed active transformation. And it's not random. There's a clear 4-step path. First, you have to go find the last lawgiver, this old, tired wizard at the Rock of Eternity. But here's the twist. He doesn't ask for a sacrifice. He just asks for your word, a declaration of who you are. Then you have to speak that big, affirming yes to your own power, and that's what prepares you to face the living lightning. And this is the crucial moment. When the lightning comes down, it doesn't destroy him. He swallows it. And right then, that chaotic storm out there becomes a focused certainty inside him. And it tastes familiar, you know? It tastes like his own will. It was his own power all along, just waiting. This is his real birth. So after this rebirth, the modern Sampson is a whole new being. He's not passive anymore. He didn't just survive. He actually forged himself into something new. So let's take a look at the kind of power and perspective he has now. You remember the old Sampson, right? The tragic hero who was blind, who reacted to things, who let his power get taken away? Well, the modern Sampson refuses to be a victim. His sight isn't something that just happens. His gaze is an act of force. It's a weapon of truth that just burns away all the illusions of a weak, resentful world. Even the way he uses discipline is totally different. You know, those old religious vows like fasting or abstaining, they're no longer about trying to please some god in the sky. For him, they become tools. They're like a blacksmith's hammer. Every time he says no to something, every oath he takes, it's a deliberate strike to forge his raw instinct into focused, world-shaping power. This right here is his core belief. He is faithful to the earth. He has completely thrown out any hope for a better life somewhere else, some super-terrestrial reward. His power is here, it's in his body, it's in the now. He pledges his loyalty to the magnificent, and yet sometimes terrible, reality of this world, and this world alone. So, what's the end game? Where does all this lead? Now we get to see the final form, the ultimate purpose of this new being, especially in a world that feels like it's lost its way. And here it is, the perfect synthesis. The Roman Caesar with Christ's soul. Just think about that. You've got the immense, unstoppable, world-conquering power of a Caesar, but it's guided by the deep, creative, life-loving spirit of a Christ. It's raw power married to a profound, earthly purpose. And here's why that's so important. When all the old sources of meaning start to crumble, what Nietzsche famously called the death of God, this huge void opens up and threatens to swallow everything. This guy doesn't fall into despair. What's his answer? Creation. He becomes his own source of value. You can actually track his evolution through 3 stages. First, he's the camel, carrying all that weight. Then he transforms into the lion, who just roars a destructive no to the old world and shatters everything. But he doesn't stop there. He evolves again into the child. And the child represents the sacred yes, that innocent, joyful power to just create new things, to play. So, ultimately, a being like this needs no one's approval. His very existence is the justification for life. He's the peak of the mountain that makes the whole brutal climb worth it. He's a resurrection of the Earth's own ancient power. He's a person who has truly become their own sun. And that leaves us with one last big question, because this whole allegory, it isn't just a story, it's a challenge, right? In a world where it feels like the old lights are flickering out, it asks every single one of us, how do you stop looking for the light and start generating your own? How do you become your own sun?